Welcome, friends and followers. NewErr speaking here from the walls of the Firstborn, and welcome to a new video. What is this about? Well, it's mod of the year, and I felt pretty lazy to actually write all the ideas and all the thoughts I wanted to share with you. So what I did instead is make a video. This is kind of like a vlog, I guess, where it's me talking about random stuff about the modification, the Wars of the Firstborn, and this is kind of like a kickoff, I guess, where I have decided now, after many hours of work in this mod, to actually show you the state of the actual mod. Mind you, this is a pre-alpha view. There are still many things that need to be done in it. Art, codes, all that stuff, you name it. You got icons to the art, it's all over the place. We kind of have a pipeline going of how things will be done, and at the end of the day, before the release, everything's gonna be tied up. But now you'll see like the raw preview of how the modification looks at this point, and maybe some of you will be disappointed, maybe some of you will be excited, but it is what it is, and I'll just go through along with you, explaining what you see, what will you see in the future, what changes and all that. But it's a hot start, and yeah, let's get into it. Pums. Oh, this is a skirmish. Yeah, so I will be playing on the Tower Hills map, which is a new map with some slight variation. The final one might look a bit different, and you can see it's already here, and still things to be done. I will go against let's go. So basically, this is like something I want to do also in the future. That's why I said this is going to be more of a kickoff, and hopefully with other team members or contributions, so we can actually have like a talk, especially our faction designer. Right off the bat, you can see that we have decided the Elven factions will be standalone. So, you know, if we have Man faction, then you probably have Gondor and Rohan as sub-factions, which is a thing we have in the mod. But now we decided we want more versatility. Of course, going with sub-factions, there are certain limitations, especially in the powers and heroes. So we decided that, okay, Elven factions will have their own factions and not be part of a sub-faction. Now I've chosen Mirkwood, which is the only sub-faction for the Mirkwood faction, obviously. This is the old fortress.
I have building
and
supplies.
these
Ready
are
your tools. Where should we build?
High Elven constructors. But we do have the Mirkwood Glade, which is new and tidy up.
It is time to build. There is
And
work
I'll
to be done.
just do 2 of those
Build up this land.
right off the bat. And if you didn't know, the way Mirkwood faction will work is that at first your units will be tied up to the fortress. So what I mean by that, it's very hard to see, but here are the foundations, and here are the structures you can actually build to get units. So you have the sword hole, spear hole, and archery range. Of course, translation is not there, but you can read the description. So I'll go with all 3 of them, I guess. sword, spear, and lastly archery range. Now, I'll want to go for the heavy armor. So if you missed our previous video about how the economy of the Mirkwood faction works, I suggest you see the all the article about it. But now I'll go for the metalsmith, which is basically the heavy armor one, and I'll just go like this will be my first option, so I can get that sweet bonus. Okay. Let's just make one of each. Of course. And okay, I'm upgrading already. Smith guide. Pretty nice.
We come from Mirkwood.
They come from Mirkwood.
In line, archers!
From Lorien.
Remain wary, elves.
Keep your wits sharp.
Okay,
Bows!
and just go and kill these
We bring
guys.
spears from Mithlund.
Now,
Line it up. Guard this area.
what we did manage to implement now is that we already started up the system on how to customize the units. So basically, as an overview, what we decided is that basic units should be efficient, or let's say relevant, even if in the
Archers
late
of
game.
Mirkwood.
So in that way, what we did is customize all of this through the armor system. Basically, what it
We
means
must
is
stay
that
alert. In line, archers.
depending on the armor you choose, it will make your
Remain wary,
unit
elves.
good against something.
line,
Let's
archers.
say,
We must stay alert. Stay
which
close.
means that in later
There
game,
they are.
the elite units won't override them. You basically have to choose if you want to use light armor or medium armor or heavy armor. Okay, that
In line,
Now stay.
archers.
So for example, at this point I will choose
Scout the area.
these
This way,
archers to
archers.
remain on light because they have big speed and
Archers of
damage.
Mirkwood.
And once I've
In line,
chosen
archers.
this, I get access to their abilities and upgrades,
Bows.
which means now
Archers of Mirkwood.
now I
Remain
can
wary,
go
elves.
with them like the full
Guard this area.
potential. Just make me let's go more archers. I love archers in general, so why not?
There is work to be done.
And let me make one more tree. Here.
A fair sight indeed.
Okay, so I also want to show you the leather armor, so I'll make Tailor's Guild, and the last one should be a woodwork, which are bonuses to buildings and other stuff.
Stay close. We come from Mirkwood.
Let me get to this big tower, so I
There, to
have
the high ground.
a big vantage point.
Remain wary, elves.
We must protect the woods.
Okay, I've upgraded this, so now I want to have access to the brass armor.
We bring spears
So
from
now I
Mithlund.
can get to that very
Elves of
resistant
Mithlund.
units,
We
because
come from
at this
Mirkwood.
point they are pretty frail as light armor, and especially for melee ones. I mean, melee in this game is pretty hard to
Bows.
keep it
Scout the
alive
area.
if it doesn't have proper armor.
Release the arrows. Launch the attack.
No problem.
Keep them off balance.
Okay, Mordor has a lot of words which will probably kill my... Yep, they did. Of course they did.
We must stay
Okay,
alert.
change of plans. So I'll use this one. Keep my address. Okay, so a bit of a history,
In
which
line,
is
archers.
this is not only a showcase, but
Archers of Mirkwood.
this February, it will be 1 year since we announced,
Hold
hey,
your positions. This way,
we're
archers.
closing up the Rider Clan mode. and we're going out with a different project which was based on it. And at the time, to be honest, to be fair, I was imagining the fact that I would change, let's say, very little to it, but that didn't happen. What actually happened is that I had to rethink all of the stuff that was currently in the modification. So that means all the art I had and all the mechanics I've done, let's say, and since we have a new member, Samsara or Winged or however you want to call him, and he took upon himself to actually take care of the faction plan, then it was basically merging the old ideas from the Ride the Clan mod with the new ideas, and that meant that we had to do an almost revamp of the whole thing. Okay, let me just bring Legolas to the fold because he is my favorite and that's cool.
Remain wary, elves.
And as you can see, just around about, just talking a bit about what you see is the heavy units are way more slower than light ones.
Stay ready.
So you need to
A
choose
better
wisely
vantage point.
what you
In
want
line,
to do.
archers.
Right.
I am
And
Legolas of the Woodland Realm.
I think I want the armor, but I also want the fletching.
The enemy has now grown far. I am over here.
And let me go easy mode with this, guys.
I sense a clear path.
Put Legolas in here.
Elves of Mithlond.
Stay close. Stay ready.
We must protect the
Righto.
woods.
And these
must
guys are
protect
going to
Middle-earth.
be in full heavy
The
armor.
alert sentry.
Like I said, I want
Archers of
very
Mirkwood.
chunky.
In line, archers. Remain wary, elves.
So yeah, what he ended up is doing things from scratch, and what affected this the most, I think, was the art style, because it was very old. All the things we've done in the past, some of them were good, some of them were not that good, at least for me. I'm
Remain
very,
wary, elves.
very passionate
Stay
about
ready.
what I do, and
Bows.
if
Scout the area.
you know me for some time, then you probably know that I like to redo most of the stuff if the new stuff looks good, and that's exactly what I did. I'm gonna be honest, it took me way more than I anticipated. I expected to be, let's say, do stuff in less time, but you know, life and other stuff came in and the estimations, but
Keep your senses alert.
I think the most important thing
I sense
to
evil
realize
may be
here
near.
is that I made like a huge new pipeline of doing stuff, because in the
ready.
past the art was very
Keep your senses
ununified,
alert.
and
The land
that
has grown
always kind
dangerous.
of bothered
We
me.
must remain wary.
So I tried to make like an art
ready.
pipeline that actually
Let's move
makes me
on.
happy, looks
Keep your
good,
senses alert.
and doesn't take necessarily that much time. So
must remain
let's
wary.
say at the speed that it is now, it takes more than
I
it
am over here.
did for the old models, let's say,
The enemy
but
has
the
now grown
quality
far.
that I can get from it is way bigger, and it looks way cooler, at least in my
I am
opinion,
over here.
and I hope you agree.
Follow
And
me.
if you don't,
Be ready.
well, there's nothing I can
This
do
road is
about it.
safe.
Okay, so this is the base.
Filthy beast.
All the
The
stuff
stench of
that
evil must
I
end
kind of
here.
explained now will be present in a faction
The
plan,
enemy is
which
upon us.
now I am confident I will
Breathe
make
your last
publicly,
breath.
because up until now, unless we know something 100% and was
The
already
enemy is upon
done,
us.
we shared it.
I sense
But
evil
now
may
we're
be
gonna,
near.
I'm
This way.
much more confident
Be
to
ready.
share stuff
You
that
shall
I'm
not see
not
daybreak.
100% sure, let's say like 90%, but I'm pretty confident we can
Remain wary, elves.
do it. So I'll be more open about it.
I'm
Okay,
ready.
seems the AI is pretty lazy, which is hardly any news.
Build
But
up this
also
land.
I'll try and make some elite units.
Filthy beast!
We must stay
Too
alert.
bad, too bad.
Breathe your last breath.
Let me just get back up a bit, maybe. Oh, I think the problem is he doesn't build farms. Oh, right,
Follow me.
because the mob doesn't have it. Oh well. I'm just gonna kill him slowly. Yeah, I just realized the map probably doesn't have the farm position. Just gonna get this. And let's just showcase a bit of the palace guards and the lieutenant. These are not properly
I
finished,
sense evil may
but
be near.
I just want to show them to you because I absolutely love them, how they look visually.
In line, archers.
Yeah, let's just
We
make
must
some
protect
melee
Middle-earth.
guys as
Swords
well.
from Lorien.
Remain wary, elves.
So shiny, so lovely.
Stay close.
And so goes for the palace guard. Actually, the palace guard in this, the
We
palace
bring
guard
swords from Lorien.
in this
Our homes
now
must be defended.
modification will be like very tied to Franwil, in the sense that only after Franwil reaches certain levels you will
Settle.
be able to recruit them. Oh wow, the bloom on this map is insane.
Keep your wits sharp.
And what that means is they'll be limited
We bring swords from Lorien.
depending on Franwil's level. And at the same time, they will have some insane cool abilities, which I cannot show
Ready,
you now
elves.
because they're not done. But we know what we're doing. And on the other hand, the lieutenant,
Our homes must be defended.
we
bring
made him
swords from
like a
Lorien.
specialized unit, so he can do various things. And his whole purpose, let's say, is to fill in gaps that the faction has.
Watch for the enemy.
For example,
Keep your wits sharp.
if you want siege damage, then
Our homes
you
bring
will
swords
need
from
a
Lorien.
lieutenant. Same
Watch
if
for the
you
enemy.
want cavalry,
Keep your wits
also
sharp.
he is also needed, and you'll see why when the time comes. So that means that his role is to fill gaps in
We
the
bring
faction.
swords from Lorien.
I mean,
Watch for the enemy.
the faction itself is pretty robust.
Archers of Mirkwood. In line, archers.
Um,
Advance.
with the armor
Move your
system,
position.
but we wanted to highlight the
should we
fact
build?
that we're still talking about Mirkwood,
It is
which
time to
means
build.
certain things they still need to be not bad, but let's say not as potent as other faction. For example, we chose that Mirkwood kind of sucks at cavalry, but that doesn't mean they don't have. They do have. Okay, maybe
Weapons
the
ready,
landscape is
elves.
a bit insane to these guys. Well, they are single units in very leathery armor. But on the other hand, we did feel the need to fill the gaps. So we made some units that could cover that, but they're pretty expensive, let's say.
Our homes must be defended.
Okay, okay, these are the medium ones. I so love how these guys look. There are still animations to be done, if it's not obvious. Which
Keep your
reminds
wits
me,
sharp.
I should get these in proper
Line it up.
formation.
Rock formation!
Rock formation!
Stay on guard.
Of course, the audio is from the Gondor.
Elves of Mirkwood.
Infantry.
Settle.
Well, it seems the AI won't do much this match, so I'm gonna end up pretty quickly. This is what I wanted to show. I know it's not much, but I think it gives you a taste of what is to come. There are many other things that will come up with this, but
We must protect Middle-earth. Weapons ready, elves.
all in due time, and this time we'll keep you up to date, let's say. What I can say is the fact that probably soon we'll have, not soon, but at one point we'll have an article about how the units actually work, like in more detail. Also the fact that what abilities they have, per se, also the faction plan.
They will not get past me.
They will be balanced.
We must protect Middle-earth. Be alert, sentry.
Breathe your last breath.
Yes, so we have like a full article in plan detail of how to do all the things. I also very much like to do an article about the art style, especially about let's say the buildings and why they look how they look and what's the story behind them and how long they took actually to do this, and the elements you can find in them. And it's also something I very much like to do. And also the abilities all of these guys will have.
They will not get past me. Another.
Oh, they also have upgrades, but of course I forgot to.
Stay ready. Advance.
We must protect the woods.
Bows. We must stay alert. Stay close. Archers of Mirkwood.
They are finished. So this is how our modification looks after almost 1 year. A lot of sweat and tears went to it. But luckily with everything new we bring into the modification makes the next stuff we do much easier, because we reuse a lot, and now that all the things are done properly from the start, because I removed all the bad stuff I did before, and now we're going with a fresh, almost fresh start. It's gonna be a smoother ride, and I think the hard part is almost done, and now comes like the more fun part when we can actually do as much as we can with this. I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for new news, and vote for your favorite mods if when you see this you can still vote. Bye.